trying to think. A debater in high school.
That's all right. And I did the same thing as well. And being any kind of CEO, I'm thinking you debate a lot, in certain conference situations, but nothing to the spectacle here. So, the question for a lot of people is, I wonder if she's excited about getting up there and debating for about an hour in some type of form. So, I'm
yeah. I mean, I think this will be great fun. And, I've done a lot of back and forth over the years in different situations, and I have every confidence this will go very well. I mean, I think it was just about timing and what the right thing to do was in terms of the pacing and sequencing of the campaign. Mm-hmm. And frankly, I think a little bit of a mountain out of a molehill has been tried to be made out of this by the side. No. So March 15th will be great. So March, April, May, there's plenty of time before the Republican primary. So I'm excited about it. I think it'll be fun.
Well, and this campaign's going to be interesting now because all of a sudden we're a little personal. And so I thought I'd ask you, Steve Poizner making the charge that your campaign threatening him, going to take him through the wood chipper, it's criminal, calling the cops, what have you. Have you taken it personal, or are you personally offended?
No,
okay.
Absolutely not. What I try to do every day is get and say, how can we explain to voters what the future vision for the state of California is, why, I might be the best person to turn this state around, and talk to them about what I think makes most sense. And so I get up every morning very optimistic and quite excited about the future of California. We can turn California around. It is not for the faint of heart. It's not easy, but I'm excited about it. And I think Californians, they want California to be great again, and they're looking for leadership. They're looking for a way forward, and that's what I talk about every day.
Your opponent in the race has simply said that you don't support tax cuts, although he is saying it this way, you don't support across-the-board tax cuts. Is there a difference, Meg, and describe for us?
Sure. So in the near term, if you believe that the number one thing we got to do is we got to put Californians back to work, then everything has to be viewed through the lens, does it create jobs and does it keep jobs in California in the near term? So while I am a supporter of across-the-board tax cuts, in the near term, I don't think we can afford them. I mean, we are facing a $20 billion budget deficit. So let's do targeted tax cuts that get people back to work right away. Perfect example is what I call elimination of the California factory tax. So you probably know that we're one of just 3 states in the whole country where manufacturers have to pay sales tax on the equipment they buy to manufacture in the state. So whether you're a biotech company manufacturing in San Diego or a manufacturer in the Central Valley, it's the best reason I know to expand in Nevada or Colorado. So those are the kind of targeted tax cuts I want to do right away. Are there things we can do to immediately spur hiring, get the cost structure where we need it to be, reduce the cost of government, and then let's invest those savings in an across-the-board tax cut? And I just think, someone has to act like the adult here, and I don't think that an across-the-board tax cut is going to be possible in the near term because we're facing a $21 billion budget deficit. So all in good time, but let's be smart about how we use tax cuts in the near term.
I'm sitting here in Sacramento, been here 10 years. I've never seen this type of attitude before. Last week, the state Senate on a Democrat bill passed a $400 billion single-payer universal health care bill out of the state Senate. It's going to go to the Assembly. I think Governor Schwarzenegger will veto this for a 3rd time. First question here, if that happens in a Whitman administration, would you veto something like that? And would you support any type of single-payer health care down the road for the state of California?
I would veto it, and I would not support a single-payer health care system. It's not the right way to go. And you can see people all over California and the country agree with that. It's just the wrong thing for California.
Yeah, and not only the fact we just can't afford it.
So, that in large part, that's the reason why it's the wrong thing. We can't afford it. We can't administer it. There's lots of other things we can do, I think, that can help healthcare in California, but that's not the one.
Running for governor and for any office, first time in a major campaign, what is one thing that you have learned thus far in the journey? Just one thing, either about yourself or about being in the mix here.
I think the number one thing is be your authentic self. Say what you mean what you say, and explain it in ways that people can understand. And I think that this notion of focusing on 3 things, if you go to Sacramento with an agenda that is too broad, it will be impossible to get anything done. And in business and in life, focus is an important thing. And if I talk to voters all over the state, they resonate to that. And jobs and cutting spending and fixing our K-12 education system, I haven't met too many Californians who don't want to rally around those three major objectives. And I think we can bring California together, and I think we can get something done. So I'd say it's be your authentic self and focus on a small number of things that you care really deeply about.
28 minutes after 12 noon. The meat of the conversation, Meg Whitman, right there on 1380 KTKZ. Coming up, we will talk with the